Shankar.
Good evening, namaskar, all of you. Myself is Shankar Krishna Das, coordinator from ICOMOS India, Northeastern Zone, just recently joined member. I welcome all of you, and my co-host Dilip Sankati also welcome all of you to this webinar on Bihu. Let's create some environment. Hi. This is the Bihu instrument. This is called Bagana, made from bamboo. And especially we welcome all our panelists, respected Dinesh Gogoi sir, Dr. Pradeep Neuk sir, Midhu Mosam Bora sir. And we also welcome Munish Pandit sir, Vice President of International Committee on Intangible Cultural Heritage from India. And from ICOMOS India, we also welcome Dr. Milinani Atre Ananya Bhattacharjee Madam. Experts from ICSS from different countries have joined this webinar. In addition to this, ICOMOS member, as well as many public respected gentlemen are joining in this audience as a member. And I also welcome all of you as a participant, and please write something, any question you have, so that in the chat box we can give panelists the presentation after the meeting. Today also we welcome Dr. Sanjeev Borkapati sir, who is the moderator of this webinar, and he is the expert from ICOMOS International Committee on Intangible Cultural Heritage and the president of Society for Sankardeva. Dr. Kakati sir is academician and doctor. He is a researcher and respected known figure of Assam. I given over to Mr. Dr. Kakati sir. He will moderate the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. I welcome all e-commerce members and scholars from across the world to this webinar on Bihu, the Agrarian Festival of Assam. The uniqueness of Bihu lies in the fact that it is celebrated by all the ethnic groups of Assam. It is celebrated both in community level and in individual level. It is enjoyed by both the urban dwellers and non-farmers, in addition to the farmers. Another uniqueness of Bihu is that it is celebrated at 3 points of time instead of a single point of time. One of them, the most popular one, Rangali Bihu, is a spring festival to welcome the Assamese New Year. It is held at the same time when a Baishakhi and a Bihu festival are held in other parts of India. A lot of festivities are held during this Bihu. Songs and dances fill the air. It continues for 7 days. In one of these days, cattle are abated. During this Bihu, people give gifts to their dear ones. These are called Bihuan. This gamusa, you can see on my shoulder, is presented to the dear ones. It is called Bihuan. During this Bihu, buffalo fight, etc. sports take place. During another Bihu, Bhogali Bihu, which is a post-harvest celebration, a lot of feast take place, especially in the night before the Bihu. This is called Uruka. During this Bihu, and also in the Rangali Bihu, people prepare cakes made of rice, coconut, molasses, sesame, etc. The third Bihu is called Kongali Bihu. It takes place in the lean season, but it's quite important because it is about protection of crops. People light lamps in the paddy field, and that way they destroy the insects which harm crops. Also, the basil saplings are planted, which is a air purifier. Thus, Bihu is closely associated with nature and agriculture. During the same time as Rangali Bihu, the Sangkran festival takes place in Thailand, Vaishak festival in Nepal, and Tingyan in Myanmar. So it's a global festival. In earlier days, the youngsters used to gather at night under a tree and dance to their heart's content. Uh, I will request uh, Sujata to play the song number one, video number one.
So,
Sujata, the video number one. So we heard that a Bihu song. Uh, the visual did not come some technical problem. Actually, this is about a dance that took place under the tree at night. Now I request Sujata to play the message of Salini Dasgupta. She's Secretary of E-commerce India and an architect, and she has given a, a momentum to e-commerce movement in India.
yes,
So the
sir.
message of Salini. Sujata,
Yes, sir.
The message did not come of message of Salini Dasgupta.
Yeah. I
This,
played
this,
Shalini Das Gupta's message.
but he did not come. There's
You could
some
not hear?
technical, yeah, there's some technical problem, it seems.
You message? So, did you hear the message?
No, no, we did not hear it. Okay, then we proceed with our panelist. Uh, Before that, can you play the video number 3? Sujata,
Yes, sir.
can you play the video number 3?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing. So, video number 2 or 3?
3, 3.
He has already played.
It seems there are some technical problems with the videos, so we'll dispense with the videos, and from now onwards we'll go along with the panelist. I invite our first panelist, uh, Dinesh Gogoi. He is a retired professor of physics. He has authored 11 books. He is a sportsman and also a sports organizer. He is an actor and playwright at the same time. Till now, he has directed 4 Assamese feature films. So we are very glad to have Gogoi with us. So here is Dinesh Gogoi.
Thank you very much. So may I proceed?
Yeah.
বসন্তৰ পৰশাই প্ৰকৃতিৰ ততে নাই বাউল হল কেতেকী কলি ঢোল পেপা গগনাই ৰাউচি জিবিলে বিহুতি আহিলে বুলি. A very warm good evening to everyone present here in this virtual platform. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to deliver a small talk on the origin and evolution of Bihu, the state festival of Assam, India. Well, the time that I have been allotted can never be enough for a complete perusal of Bihu, its origin and evolution. But due to the time constraints, I will try my best to encompass it within my ability. Hence, without much ado, I would like to proceed. Bihu is the most significant cultural festival in Assam, which essentially epitomizes the spirit of Assam and its people. To everyone's common knowledge, Bihu is comprised of three prominent types. We may say it as Kongale Bihu due to the scarcity of food at that time observed in the month of Kati, that is in October according to the Gregorian calendar. Mag Bihu, we may say it as Bhogale Bihu, as there is a plenty of food at that time observed in the month of Mag, that is in January. Bohag Bihu, which we may say Rongale Bihu, observed in the month of Bohag, that is in April. And both Kati Bihu and Mag Bihu are agriculture-based festivals, while Bohag Bihu is agriculture-related rain-based festival. Today, my delivery will be entirely focused on Bohag Bihu, the marrow of Bihu. According to common belief, Bihu originated in the Su Kingdom of China during the reign of Zhou dynasty between 770 to 223 BCE. Water-based paddy cultivation was started for the first time in the entire world in Pearl Valley of Guangdong state of China about 12,000 years ago. For paddy cultivation, a lot of water is required, unlike the other forms of cultivation. During that time, the world was not familiar with artificial irrigation system, and so the cultivators had to depend completely upon nature, that is on rainfall. As per common practice, the people of Chu Kingdom believed that they could bring about rain by playing a variety of musical instruments such as drums, cymbals, hornpipes, harps, toka, that is bamboo, clapper, flute, etc., accompanied by loud singing and dancing. However, these activities did have a scientific undertone. As a matter of fact, all the loud sounds gave rise to vibrations in the atmosphere, and as a result of which, the existing dry air had to disperse, and accordingly, heavy air consisting of water vapor filled the void. Consequently, it brought rainfall. A small fraction of people from the Chu Kingdom migrated via Sichuan of Tibet to the Brahmaputra Valley, tentatively between 5th and 6th century CE. Those people introduced themselves as Sutia by adding Tia, referring to the religious deity, and Su derived from the Su Kingdom. When the Sutias arrived at the Brahmaputra Valley, the people residing in the hills used to employ the process of jhum cultivation, and the people residing in plains cultivated ahu paddy. It was the Sutias who started water-based paddy cultivation here, known as Baudan. The agricultural activities here generally started in the month of April and May, similar to the Sioux Kingdom. The age-old tradition of rain-calling rituals are still performed by the Sutia community here in the month of April. Later, it came to be observed as a yearly festival during the same time, commonly known as Bichu. Gradually, with the passage of time, Bichu came to be known as Bihu. However, possibility is also there that the term Bihu may have been derived from the words Bihu of Rava people and Bihu of Thai people, respectively. Time and again, Bohag Bihu has been classified into two categories. Bonor Bihu, performed in the forest, Sutal Bihu, performed in the people's courtyard. Usually, Bonor Bihu, as the name itself suggests, Bon, meaning forest, was observed in the forest areas like under trees, near river banks, etc. Basically, Bonor Bihu was always performed in an open space. Bonor Bihu specifically was of the youth, the dance form and its posers and gestures, that is Bhongima in Assamese, were romantic in nature. In the 13th century CE, festival, Singri came to be known with the Thai people coming from Mung Mao under the leadership of Sao Long Siu Ka Pa, the founder king of Ahom Kingdom. In Soitra Sankranti, the Thai people bathed their religious deity Sumdeo and then marched on the road by beating drums, blowing hornpipes, harps, cymbals, toka, flute, etc., accompanied by singing and dancing. The head of the families come out along with some corn, few corns, betel nut, etc., in a horai, and bow down to Sumdeo out of respect and devotion. The people marching along with deity offer blessings for a lucky and prosperous new year, as here new year starts in the month of Bohag. Later, this Rusengri came to be known as Rusori and afterward as Husori. Henceforth, it is highly possible that Bonor Bihu of Sutia and Husori of Thai Ahoms amalgamated thereafter. During the reign of Ahom King Rudra or Sukrangpa, Ram Narayan Chakrabarti, alias Kobidas Chakrabarti, the greatest poet of the Ahom Empire, wrote a book on Bihu, that is on Ahom period, and named Alian. Ali referring to road or street, meaning song sung on the streets or roadside. Bihu was performed in Ronghor during the reign of Rudrasingha in 1705, the first open stage of Asia, and in Rupowatar area of Assam. During the reign of King Nupa, also known as Lakshmi Singha, in 1770 CE, Husori was first performed in the king's sutal, meaning courtyard, and later in the courtyards of the king's officials, and finally in the courtyards of the common people. Sutal Bihu was full of happiness and open to all age groups, where people were engaged in merriment that is wrong. Hence, Bohag Bihu is also known as Rangali Bihu. While speaking of the religious context associated with Bihu, it only came into being after 15th century with Shankardev, the Assamese polymath, starting the Bhagavatic religious movement, Ek Saran Nam Dharma or Bhagavati Dharma, and also called Neo-Vaishnavite movement. It was after this that Bihu moved from Bortals to the Namgars. That is Bohag Bihu in a nutshell. Sad reality is that now, Bihu is mostly confined inside television screens. Well, that is the flip side of the technologically advanced glittery world. Nonetheless, I would like to definitely end with an optimistic note here. Deliberation here on this virtual platform itself reflects on the genuine efforts to keep our traditions and cultures alive and reach to a greater audience. So I offer my sincere thanks to the organizers. With that, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gogoi. It has been a very illuminating speech. Ines Gogoi has given a brief idea about the evolution of Bihu since the ancient times, how it has changed over time till the modern era. So we are very fortunate to listen to him. And we will take question together after all the three panelists. So I request the audience here to write if they have any question in the chat box. We'll take the questions together later. Now I invite our second panelist, Dr. Dr. Pradeep Now. He is the director of Extension Education Institute, the national level facilitator in agricultural extension management. He is a researcher of Assamese folk culture. He has authored 8 books and also musical plays for radio. He's a busy academician. I thank him for coming to the webinar.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the presentation on Bihu dance and Bihu songs, an overview. Bihu dance is called as Bihu nas, and Bihu songs are called as Bihu nam or Bihu git in Assamese. There are 3 traditional events of Bihu dance and Bihu songs. Already, Dr. Dinesh Gogoi has already told. They are Rati Bihu, Gabhori Bihu, and Husori. Rati Bihu and Gabhori Bihu were held in the midst of nature. Rati Bihu was held in night, and in which a group of girls and a group of boys participated, keeping distance, and in which the girls danced, sang, and also played Bihu Baidyas. That means the typical musical instruments. In Rati Bihu also, the boys group played musical instruments and also sang Bihu songs. In Gabhori Bihu, only the girls danced, sang songs, and played Bihu Baidyas. While in Husori, the Bihu dance and Bihu songs are performed by menfolk in the courtyard of villagers, and also they played typical Bihu Baidyas. At present, these events are performed or showcased in cultural events of Bohag Bihu, which have been organizing in hundreds of places in the state as well as outside state. Now, let me tell the 5 typicalities of girls' Bihu dance. Number 1, this typical rhythm, typical movement, typical twisting of waist, typical poses, and typical expressions. I'll discuss each of these typicality very briefly. Rhythm of girls' Bihu dance. The rhythm of girls' Bihu dance is of 3.5 matras of closed bowls. Bowls means mnemonic syllables. It is kit, 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 like that. And this tal or matras is resembled to khemta tal of Hindustani music, which is of 4 matras. Now coming to movements in girls' Bihu dance, the typicality is in Bihu dance, girls makes movement by small steps with rolling toes on the floor typically, maintaining the rhythm. And also a girl spins body and moves at intervals. Regarding waist twisting, in Bihu dance, girl twists waist in rhythm almost constantly. And waist is twisted twice in the rhythm of 3.5 matras. Poses of girls' Bihu dance. Originally, there was no definite poses because these Rati Bihu and Gabharu Bihu were held in the midst of nature and girls were danced spontaneously. But in modern era, as Bihu competitions are going on and it is becoming a performing art, so the poses, certain poses are recognized as typical of Bihu dance in modern era. And the Bihu Suraksha Samiti, Assam, which is an organization working for safeguarding and protection of the origin form of Bihu culture, has identified 8 poses as typical of Bihu dance of girls. Let us see these poses. And also another one typicality of Bihu dance of both girls and men is that they do not symbolize anything specifically. Now poses 1 and 2. These are another 2 poses of Bihu dance. These are another 2, and these are another 2 poses. Now coming to the expression in Bihu dance, the Bihu dance expresses both outer and inner beauty of performer. The Bihu dance expresses performers' joy, love, delight, exhilaration, thrill, and the like. And performer keeps a smile throughout in Bihu dance. With these all typicalities, Bihu dance is one of the matchless form of folk dance, which is very, very alluring and attractive, and that is why it has been praised at different forums, not only in the state, but also outside the state and abroad. Now coming to men's Bihu dance, there are several set of well-structured dances of several rhythms for men. And these sets are meticulously constructed as like Indian classical dances. Another one, the men also dance in same rhythm with similar movement as of girl, but not in all the poses. With this, we are shifting to Bihunam, overview of Bihunam. The majority of Bihunams are verses of Dulori-Chanda. It is composed of 2 rhythmic verses, and thus a Bihunam is of Dulori-Chanda is of 4 lines. There are several thousands of Bihunams of Dulori-Chanda. And also there are about 1,000 Bihunams which do not follow any Chanda. Bihu names are generally sung in the same rhythm, khit 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 khit. But also, Bihu names are also sung without beats. This style of singing is called jojona. Bihu names are also sung in 4 additional rhythms, particularly in Husori. Bihu names are of high lyrical qualities in terms of words, in terms of metaphors, in terms of expression, in terms of personal feelings. The Bihu names are lyrically very, very high quality. Majority of Bihu names are enriched with superb metaphors. And this is one of the most unique characteristics of Bihu names. And there are Bihu names of all aspects of agrarian Assamese people. There is nothing in the agrarian Assamese society which is not reflected in Bihu nam. Bihu names are sung in 3 ways: cluster, jatnam, and joranam. Love is at the core of majority of the Bihu names. With this word slideshow we are completing the slideshow. Now let us see 3 video clips of total 3 minutes for recapitulation. The first video is a glance of Husori, which is performed in the courtyard of villagers. The next is The second video is on the Gabhoru Bihu performed in stage. And the last one is a mock type Bihu of the Rati Bihu, or it is a form or format of Husori also, in which girls also participate, though originally in Husori, girls do not participate. With this, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nao. It was a very valuable research-based speech. We were enlightened by your lecture.
Thank
You
you.
you have gone through the musical characteristics and how the steps are taken in Bihu dance. At the same time, uh, you spoke about the changes. So we'll take questions to all together. I request the audience to write their question in the chat box. Now I invite our third panelist, Midu Moshambara. He is Secretary of Society for Simanta Sankardeva. He is a manuscript painter and also a costume designer. He's a very active, uh, active trainer and also conservator of manuscripts. So here is Mitu Moshambara.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Bhagwati, sir. At first, I convey my regards to the organizing body, ICOMOS India, and all present in this prestigious webinar and who are watching on Facebook. Now I'm going to present a short presentation on ornaments used in Bihu festival. I request, this is my first slide. Among the three Bihus, Ranga Bihu is the most popular one. It is a spring festival which is celebrated in the month of Bohag, that is in April, May. Both Assamese men and women wear traditional ornaments on different parts of their body while participating in Bihu dance. These ornaments are made from gold, silver, and copper, etc., and are typically handmade. The designs are inspired by nature. In Kalika Puran, names 40 different types of ornaments which were made of both gold and silver. Classification. Traditional ornaments can be classified into two categories: ornaments worn by male and ornaments worn by female. Now, ornaments worn by male Number one, ornaments worn on neck, madol or biri, and lokapara, etc. are worn by male dancers. I took two photographs here. One is biri and another is lokapara. And there is another commonly used ornament worn by male. It is motamani, but not used in Bihu. And number two, ornaments worn in fingers. Rings or ornaments worn in finger are called angoti in Assamese. Some examples of angotis are Jethi Nejia angoti, Kenpota, Guru Sokua angoti, Horin Sokua angoti, and Bakhorua angoti. Next slide, please. And now ornaments worn by female. There are 4 parts. Ornaments worn on neck. Dhulbiri, Junbiri, Gezera, Bena, Dugdugi, Lokapara, Golpota, Jethipata, Kenpota, etc. are worn by female dancers in neck. There are many other ornaments that used by female dancers on neck. And number 2 is ornaments worn in fingers. Some examples of angutis are Chichinezia anguti, Kenpota, Bakuru anguti, Mouranesia, etc. are worn on in fingers. Number 3, ornaments worn in ear. Some ear ornaments are Thuria, Lokapara, Longkeru, Digholkeru, Bakorua Keru, Ukakeru, Titakoria Keru, Zangfai Keru, Kunti, etc. In the photograph, first it is Thuria. Actually, it is a kind of keru. The smallest keru is called long keru, and it was worn by male only. Long keru, and Thuria is a middle size of middle kind of keru, and the Zangfai keru is bigger one. Number 4, bracelets. Muthikaru is the most common ornament worn around the waist by women in Bihu. It is also known as Potiakaru or Kosoruakaru. Next slide, please. Manufacturing process. Woolwashing and manufacture of jewelry are 2 important industries in medieval Assam. The Khanual community used to collect gold from the sand of some rivers of Assam. Goldsmiths are known as konari, and they follow manual process in jewelry making. The frame of Bihu jewelry are made of silver or copper and then given a thin gold cover or coating. Some ornaments are enameled with different colors known as minakora. Some ornaments are treated with glittered stones, and we call it bakhor. Next slide, please. Manufacturing pockets. There are 3 important pockets in Assam for preparation of traditional Assamese ornaments, including Bihu ornaments. These are Rontholi village in Nagaon district, Konarigaon in Jorhat district, and Borpeta in Borpeta district. There are some basic differences in 3 pockets. In Rontholi village, the goldsmiths used to coat gold plate on the silver body, and in Borpeta, the goldsmiths to use gold water coat on the silver, and in Konarigaon, the whole body is made of gold. Our organization, Society for Shrimanta Shankardev, is working reviving this industry by organizing workshops and trained many artisans in this craft. We also participated many national level organization and workshops to promote and create awareness for this craft. Next slide, please. And it is the end of my short presentation, and I would like to thank the source of photographs, Society for Srimanta Shankardeva, Utpal Bania, Manoj Kumar Das, Papu Das, and Pimpin Mohanta. Thank you.
Thank you, Midu. You have given a very nice idea about the ornaments used in Bihu. Before we proceed, I request Sujata to try whether the speech of Shalini Dasgupta can be played. He did not play earlier properly.
Yes, I'm trying.
Greetings to all from iCommerce India. On behalf of the Executive Committee, we extend a very warm welcome to the newly formed Northeast Zone. The representation of this zone has been missing for a very long time in our scientific dialogues. It gives us great pleasure to see the beginning of a scientific dialogue within the zone on intangible cultural wealth of the region. We all know that diversity of Indian culture is embedded in its intangible heritage. It is a very important and a very good start taken on by the zone, raising awareness about various intangible cultural heritage components of the region. An influential thinker in the 20th century said that culture cannot be abridged to its tangible product because it is a continuous living and evolving process. It is extremely important for us to keep these living traditions alive and moving on by promoting and fostering better appreciation and understanding of these cultural traditions. Best wishes to Northeast Zone to carry on such important endeavors, and we look forward to many more such dialogues coming out from the zone. Thank you.
We're very grateful to Shalini Dasgupta, the Secretary of E-Commerce India, for her support all through. Now we have completed the speeches of three panelists. If you have any questions, please write in the chat box. We'll come to the chat box after some time. Now I request Monish Pandit. He is Vice President of ICOMOS International Committee on Intangible Heritage. He is also the Director of Sanrakshan Heritage Consultants. He is an architect and a strong heritage activist. We're very glad to have you with us, Manish. So please, your observation and comments. Please unmute.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. And I would like to say that all these such events where it's always a learning experience, and I must compliment all the panelists to share such vast knowledge and deep studies about a festival. And that is what is required also, because generally, all the festivals and the rituals which we perform, we take them as granted, that yes, we are doing it and we don't need to get into a depth of it. But when we look at worldwide, and if we really want to propagate our heritage and want to share it with the rest of the world, the deep knowledge of any particular performance or a ritual is very much required, both in terms of cultural significance as well as its scientific backgrounds. And since we have these Bihu, it's a good exposure for me also. When I learned a lot today about Bihu from this particular talk. And I feel that this is something which needs to be taken further, and to be shared with the rest of the world. And we have means for that, in terms of there is a UNESCO Convention of 2003, which gives you a kind of a platform to share your intangible cultural heritage with the rest of the world through representative list of intangible cultural heritage. And I feel very strongly that such festivals are part of our cultural legacy needs to be brought up and represented to the rest of the world. Interestingly, like there is a kind of a performance or a similar intangible cultural heritage of Geet Gawai. It's basically a Bhojpuri traditions, and it got listed in this kind of a representative list by Mauritius, because 40% of the population there is actually have a background from Bhojpuri background, and they feel really proud about it. And these kinds of measures are something which brings up our cultural heritage in its real form to the rest of the world. And that's the basic idea. And I think I compliment all the organizers, that if you are so much of knowledge is been already gathered about the such kind of festivals, or and it's an intangible cultural heritage of us, it should be brought down on the international platform. And it's not a very rocket science to do that. So it's a very simple process of about 2 years of cyclic time frame to get it listed. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best for such a fabulous presentations. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Manish. We are very happy that you are all in support for global recognition of Bihu as part of representative list in UNESCO. We all, Assamese people, will be very happy and very thankful for your support in this process.
Thank you.
So now I request Dr. Minalini Atre. She's from Jammu. She is a very active in intangible heritage category. She is teaching history in Law School of Jammu University, and also coordinator of National Scientific Committee on Intangible Cultural Heritage in e-commerce India. So I request Dr. Atre to present her observations. Dr. Atre.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'll keep my video off because of the internet issues. First of all, I'll congratulate Dr. Shri Shankar Krishan Das, Coordinator ICOMOS Northeast Zone, Shri Dilip Changakoti ji, the member ICOMOS Northeast Zone, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, for having organized this webinar. I also extend my greetings to Manish Pandit, Vice President ICH, and all the panelists, Professor Dinesh Gogoi, Dr. Pradeep, and Shri Mridhu Bora. I also extend my greetings to all the scholars and the researchers present here. Now, as a coordinator of the National Scientific Committee on ICH, I'm happy that a webinar on Bihu, a harvest festival, is taking place. I think this must be the first of its kind webinar that is focused on a folk festival. And truly, to tell you, sir, the short video snippets which we saw, it took us to a different plane where we forgot about pandemic and lockdown issues. And I think folk festivals have that beauty in them, and being the most an important aspect of intangible heritage as well. Now, this initiative for showcasing the Bihu festival and critical analysis coming from the land of its practice is very encouraging. It reflects not only that the people of Assam, they are conscious about their heritage, but they are also making an attempt to protect the same. Moreover, the coming together of the experts today through this webinar, both local and national, would help in making a case for the enlisting of Bihu Festival in the World Heritage List. The presentations made today were very excellent, and they reflected how the Bihu Festival is a way of life of the Assamese community, and through this, we also came to know how the Assamese community is reacting to the socio-cultural and economic changes in the region, and all those are reflected in this Bihu festival. Dinesh Gangoiji gave a very extensive explanation of the journey of Bihu through the historical period. He talked about how the Bihu festival has changed under Homs, and then how it was different under the different periods such as colonial period, how the influence of the Shankar Dev brought the assimilation of religious elements into this festival. Then Dr. Pradeep, he acquainted us with the intricacies of the Bihu dance and songs. And the best thing which I liked was that Mr. Mridhu was talking about the ornaments which are worn during this festival, their making process, and it was happy to know that this ornament making industry is being revived. So this festival seems to be a perfect blend of heritage of different tribes and clans who have made Assam as their home, thus becoming an organic whole. So this Bihu festival is a true representative of Assam and its heritage, and it must get its seat in the World Heritage List. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Minalini Atre, for your warm words about our Bihu and your wholehearted support for enlisting recognition at UNESCO level. Now I request Sujata to try whether the video one can be played again. Sujata?
বিহু মারি থাকুতে পলুয়াই নিনিবা ওই ভরিব লাগিব ধন
Thank you, Sujata. Now I'll try to sum up the discussion. We have today tried to explore the history and evolution of the Bihu, how it has been transformed over the centuries. Dr. Nao Gogoi and Mridu all gave nice presentations. I'll try to supplement some ideas. The Bihu festival was looked by the youngsters in the yesteryears as a time and scope for selecting their partners. The youngsters used to gather at night under a tree and dance throughout the night. Just you saw the video of that dance in night under a tree. So that was the tradition in earlier days. Young people used to dance throughout the night, and they used to select their life partners during that festival. So that tradition continued for a long time till only some time ago, maybe till the last century. And very important feature of Bihu is that the instruments are made mostly from bamboo. You saw the instrument played by our host Shankar Krishnadas at the very beginning. That is called Gagana. He played, at Gagana. And there is dhol, and there is one instrument, wind instrument, that is called pepa. It's made of buffalo horn. So there are varieties of musical instruments used in Bihu festival. It is highly musical. Everything is musical. And there are two different types of Bihu dance. In one type of Bihu dance, only the ladies dance. One particular Bihu dance of that category is Zang Bihu, where only the female dancers dance. And regarding the other dance category, where only the male dancers dance, it is Husori. Of course, in one type of Husori, as pointed out by Dr. Nao, the female dancers also dance, but mostly in the Husori dance, only the male dancers, they take part, and it has a spiritual undertone. In some of the Husoris, the verses composed by Srimanta, that dance performance, the artist, they give blessings to the host. So the host pay obeisance before the Usuri party. It's like a holy function, not like something for amusement. So that is a very interesting feature of that particular component of Bihu. And there are some instruments which are even made of art. One such type of instrument is called sutoli. Sutoli. It's made of art. So there are varieties. Shankar is showing that that is called Sutoli. It is made of art.
नहीं मेरा ये बस ये लास्ट चला
Can you play it, Shankar? Please unmute yourself. So it requires a great skill and also lung power to bring out the sound properly. So you can see that the thin looking themselves, they have lot of strength because they bring out very nice sound from the small instrument. So we have come almost to the end. Can I ask Sujata to play another video number 7, if possible?
Yes, sir.
বতাহে ও লীলা আবেলি বতাহে ও লীলা লফা নুহালে জালে পাতে ওই হালিছে জালিছে ও লীলা আমারে নাচনি ও লীলা আমারে নাচনি ও লীলা কালি নুয়া বেলি রে ভাতে
So as I said, that Bihu festival is looked forward to by the youngsters for selecting their partners. That is reflected in this particular performance. The artists, the dancers, they were saying that I keep remembering you all the time. So they come together on this occasion. So now, from the questions, I have seen one very pertinent question by Rupam Juti Bora. He has written that the Bihu dances have undergone a lot of transformation, and whether is it possible to have some sensor, a body to control this distortion, and whether e-commerce can take such an initiative. So this question, I think, may be answered better by Munish Pandit. So can I ask you, Munish, whether e-commerce can take some
Yes,
initiative?
please.
Hmm.
Well, for any kind of performance or cultural heritage, there is bound to have, kind of graduation or even influences of the outside world. But what I think is ICOMOS can definitely help uh, in its safeguard and ensuring its, a real sense of what you call an art form or intangible cultural heritage. But I definitely say that, the carrier of this intangible cultural heritage is the local people. So primarily, it remains with them. It's their heritage which they will carry forward for the generations to come. And ICOMOS can definitely provide some kind of a framework in terms of its documentation or in terms of its recognition, and that's what is required. In future courses, like a kind of an event like this, if this can be brought down furthermore to the people. And what is more required, I think, to filter out the influences is the kind of in-depth studies which has been done by the scholars I can see in front of my screen. These things needs to bring, go back to people. Like right now, I'm sure people are just enjoying this festival, but they need to understand the background of, this particular cultural heritage. And once they understand that, comprehend that, I'm sure enough that they will carry it, it's in true form, to the next generation. So it's a more of an information dissemination and use of different tools in the masses.
Thank you, Munish.
Thank you.
So the task of the scholars is more important. But I think e-commerce can give more scope for such scholars to come forward and come together.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now we have come almost to the end. Now I request our host, uh, Dilip Chankakoti, who is a retired engineer and also an expert member of ICICH, to offer vote of thanks.
Though Ottoman has started in the Northeast, the environment of this webinar almost converted it to spring with the sensation of the Bihu songs, sounds of the percussion drum, buffalo pipe, flutes, wing instrument gagana, then sutuli, etc. We tried to give you all a glimpse of Bihu with all these elements in this webinar. Creation of feminine sentiment is the core feature of the Agrarian festival. The creation of this emotion is also basic principle of the Northeastern culture. The feminine sentiment is mainly the dominant energy of the culture. The emotion is the base of the music. Bihu song and dance imply reflect the emotion. We hope this was reflected this was reflected in the webinar today. On behalf of ICOMOS Northeast Zone, I thanks Salini Dasgupta, Secretary ICOMOS India, for her valuable introductory speech. Our first panelist, Mr. Dinesh Gogoi's presentation about the origin and evolution of Bihu, with special reference to Bohag Bihu, was a valuable database about the origin of Bihu since ancient time. Second panelist, Dr. Pradeep Nayak, lecture on the Bihu dance and Bihu song, covered rhythms, pose, twist, and other movement of the dancer, uniqueness of the Bihu lyrics, etc. Third panelist, Mr. Midu Mousam Bora's ornaments used in Bihu festival has thrown light on Assamese ornament, which has a tradition of more than 1,500 years. We, the Northeast Zone of ICOMOS India, thanks all three panelists for their beautiful presentation. We need more from them. We also acknowledge numerous artists whose short video clips has been taken from the public domain like YouTube and others for giving brief idea about Bihu song and dance. We also thank the participants of the webinar, especially those who asked many interesting questions. Due to a shortage of time, we could not reply only. We thank Mr. Manish Pandit from ICICH for his observation on Bihu. He has been instrumental in our collaboration with ICICH. We also thank Minalini Atre from NSSICH for her observation, as well as the greetings of NSSICH on board. Another special thanks goes to Dr. Hee Suk Lee, President ICICH ICOMOS, for her warm request to all expert members of ICICH to attend the webinar. We're grateful to Naveen Piplani, President of ICOMOS India, for offering valuable suggestions during the planning phase. We also thank Sujata Prasad, Executive Secretary ICOMOS India, for her continuous technical support. We thank all members of ICOMOS India and ICICH, as well as scholars and researchers from different countries for attending the webinar. With this webinar comes to end. Thank you all again. We'll meet again.
So thank you, everyone. And also from my side, I thank both host Dilip Chankakoti and Shankar Krishna Das. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.